Hey guys, it's Shannon from Our Piece of Earth. I'm going to apologize now if I'm a little sniffly or cough. I have a little bit of a cold that just won't quite go away. So today we are talking about Progeny Press, and what this is some digital study guides that are from a Christian perspective. So they encourage your children to not just dig deeper into the story, but also into some things that relate to the Bible. Um, so today the story that we are going to talk about is a new coat for Anna's study guide. So here is a story, and this particular one is for grades kindergarten through third grade. I'm just going to kind of page through it quickly. You can see the beautiful photos. So this was a cute, fun story to read. Obviously, there's her new coat. So it's not a super long story. It's a really cute story. So this book is set in the aftermath of World War II. We'll talk a little more about it in a minute. I'm going to first just dig into the study guide a little bit with you and just show you the different parts of it and then talk about how we used it and stuff. So the first section is As You Read Activities, and then there is some vocabulary and also vocabulary mystery words. So they take the words and they fill in the blank, and then at the end of that they make a phrase. Looking at the story, so this section is a lot more interpretive for your child. So there's not necessarily right or wrong answers to all these questions, just more let them think a little harder about what it is. Like, Anna and her mother walked from town out to the farm. Why do you think they had to walk? And so there's not necessarily a right or wrong answer for them. It just encourages them to think a little bit harder and then relate it to themselves. What is the farthest distance you have ever walked? So questions like that, and then down here at the bottom there's a Bible verse, and then they're going to talk about that and what this verse tells us. So a couple pages of different questions like that. On her way home wearing her new coat, Anna stopped at every store to look at her reflection in the windows. Was she being vain or pleased, and why do you think? So this last question question obviously does have a right or wrong answer, but in this section most of them are more interpretive for your child. And then the last section in the study guide is Digging Deeper. So define patience. Were Anna and her mother patient? How can you tell? And the next one talks about a Bible verse and wants you to paraphrase the verse, and then you can kind of relate that to life and the story a little bit. So I really liked that about it. So now I'm going to tell you a little more about the story so that we can talk about the study guide a little bit. So in this story, Anna's mother is making her a new winter coat, but they have to get the materials for it. And in the time that they were doing this, it wasn't as simple as going to the store. So your child gets to go through this adventure page by page on where they go first. How do they pay for it? Do they barter or trade or do work for it? How do they get that material that they need for their coat? And not only get it, but how long do they have to wait for it before they can get the next thing? And so it just kind of takes you through all the different steps that they had to go through to get her coat. And then in the study guide, it talks about things like patience, because it wasn't as simple as taking a 20-minute drive to a store and getting one. It was much different than that and took her a very long time to get a new winter coat. So when we began using this, what we did was we first read through this story together. I read it to her, snuggled up on my lap on the couch. So we read A New Coat for Anna. And that was it. For the first day, we just read the story, maybe talked about it a little bit without looking at the study guide. And then the next day, I think we read it together again first, and then I also left it out for her to read to herself because she loves books and I know she will read them. So we went through it, and as we read through it the second time, then we talked a little bit about the As You Can Read activities so that she could fill those out as she was going along, or we'd read through that part or the story and then she could go back and find the answers. So the recommended pace is about 3 pages a week for this age, kindergarten through third. I am not entirely certain how long it took her to do it because she's pretty good at independent work. So if I give her what she needs to do and how long she has to do it, she's really good about that. But this did not take her long, and she worked through, I think, about 2 pages, 1 or 2 pages a day. Not every day, so it took us a few weeks to do it. But this wasn't super difficult. She doesn't like writing, but it wasn't a ton of writing at a time. So it was kind of fun for her to do, but I really loved the way that it made them really dig deeper inside themselves to think about what life was like for Anna in this time and what kind of people her and her mom were. So I invite you to check out the Progeny Press website and check out some of the other study guides that are available there if you have older kids too. Otherwise, this was a really great story. Now I'm super happy that we have it in our library here. Having the study guides from a Christian perspective was a nice treat for me, I guess. I try and choose books that help build their character and help encourage them to be great people. So this was wonderful. So again, check out their website. And then I'm going to leave a link in the comments so you can also see what some other bloggers had to say about this study guide as well as some of the other ones. But please leave me a comment if you have any questions. I would love to hear from you. All right. Thanks, guys, and have a great day.